Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Mark Cuban is known for his loudmouth antics on Shark Tank and has a business past that allows for him to get away with it. He got into business at 12 years old, selling garbage bags door to door. From humble beginnings, he's now the owner of the Mavericks NBA franchise, one of the most valuable sports franchises. If you want to know some more about the man himself, watch our video all about him right here. Mark Cuban has written or co-authored 19 books packed with his own brand of advice. They aren't just about business, but also topics like how to help with smoking, gambling, or drinking addictions. There are books for children entrepreneurs, and of course, plenty of analogies around basketball. But we know some of our ALUX viewers don't have all the time in the world to read 19 books. So here's a summary of 15 business lessons from Mark Cuban. Number 1. If you're learning, make sure you're being paid for your efforts. Cuban didn't get handouts. He paid his own way through school. He did everything from being a disco dancing instructor to starting a chain letter. But when he graduated, his real learning only began. But this time, he planned to be the best while he was schooled. He saw any and every situation in his career as an education, one that he was getting a salary for. He said, "In every job, I would justify it in my mind whether I loved it or hated it, that I was getting paid to learn, and every experience would be of value when I figured out what I wanted to do when I grew up." This isn't the only way Mark Cuban learns. Keep watching to find out his most important tip on how to own a business through books. Number 2. If you're vocal, own your loudmouth nature. Mark Cuban doesn't shy away from his reputation as a loudmouth. It's earned him $1.6 million in fines from the NBA for his comments on the league and its referees. He often speaks first and thinks later, but this is actually a strategy he stands behind. As he puts it, "What I believe is to put out your opinion and let everyone else react. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong." People are afraid to put out their opinions and get some pushback. So in essence, if you're going to be a loudmouth, you need to own that there might be some criticism. So have an apology waiting in the wings just in case. Number 3. Control what you can control, the amount of effort you put in. Cuban explains that in both business and sport, the only thing you can control is how much effort you put in. Markets crash, opponents make cheap shots, and you can't always predict your clients' reactions. What you can control is putting in 100%. That's focus, energy, and expertise. At 32 years old, Cuban sold Micro Solutions for $6 million. His earning, $2 million. Not bad for your first business, but not enough for a big dreamer like Cuban. He committed to putting his head down again, reading everything he could, waking up early, going to bed late, and repositioning himself by putting in 100% to gain the tools and knowledge he needed for his next success. Cuban follows the advice of former basketball coach Bobby Knight that everyone wants to win, but only those prepared to win will actually do it. Number 4. Know when to hold and fold. After the sale of Micro Solutions, Mark Cuban was hungry for his next project. He did his homework and decided to partner with Chris Jabe and Todd Wagner to launch AudioNet. They built it into a leading internet radio company and rebranded to Broadcast.com. 4 years from starting, in 1999, it was time to sell. The signs were all there. Internet companies were the buzzword in business, but the market interest couldn't hold forever. It was time to cash out. The sale of Broadcast.com to Yahoo for $5.9 billion in stock made Mark Cuban an overnight billionaire. Only a year later, the dot-com bubble burst and the value of Broadcast.com fell. Timing was everything, and Mark Cuban used his knowledge and market insight to make that important call. Number 5. Selling is solving your customers' problems. This one isn't a new concept, but it certainly is one you can't hear too often. Cuban refers back to his first business, selling garbage bags, as the first place he learned the magic formula for sales. You're trying to show them how you're going to make their lives easier. There are no favors involved. It's a win-win for everybody. Everybody needs garbage bags, so when you show up at their door selling them, you're providing a solution and making your customers' lives easier. According to Mark Cuban, if you can master selling, then you can accomplish anything. He sees selling as connecting with people and serving them. Number 6. Motivate by visualizing your exact success. Mark Cuban moved to Dallas, Texas in 1982 and got a job as a bartender, but his dreams were much bigger. He aimed to own his own business and retire by 30. That was only 6 years away, so a lot had to change for him to make that dream a reality. To help him stay motivated, he would drive around and look at the big houses in the area and imagine himself living there. This kept him focused on his dream when he went home to sleep on the floor of a 3-bedroom apartment he shared with 6 other guys. By 1990, he cashed out of his first business with $2 million in profit and could finally afford the kind of houses he drove past on his way to work at a bar. Number 7. Work on your cash-in-pocket strategy, not an exit strategy. Although it might seem like Cuban made his money by selling his businesses, he sees it as making successful and valuable companies. He never built his business to cash out. It's popular nowadays, especially in the tech industry, to think too far ahead, to the point of selling your business to the likes of Google. According to Cuban, this is flawed thinking. He says, you should focus on building the best possible business. If you're great, people will notice and opportunities will appear. Only if a company has a good long-term intrinsic value will it ever be attractive for a buyer. Number 8. If you want to be successful, be different. Mark Cuban has a reputation as a bullish angel investor on the TV show The Shark Tank. He doesn't hold back on his criticism of entrepreneurs reinventing the wheel or bringing their same sob story to the floor. Cuban believes if you can demonstrate a clear sense of market differentiation, you're headed for success. As soon as he sees a copycat, he bows out of the deal. According to Cuban, that's just a big red flag for me to go look somewhere else. If you're looking to copy an existing business, Mark Cuban suggests you open a franchise. Shots fired. Number 9. Don't get caught up in hours worked, but in the results. It's easy to think that effort means putting in long hours, but Cuban advises that long hours don't necessarily mean good work. He judges success on having goals that you achieve and measurable results. Focus on what's actually getting done. Don't just put in endless long hours. Ask yourself what needs to happen to be able to deliver to your client, and then make actionable plans to make it happen. Number 10. Diversify to protect what you already have. It might be an age-old practice, but don't put all your eggs in one basket is still solid advice according to Cuban. When he sold Broadcast.com, he was lumped with a huge chunk of Yahoo stock. It was worth $118 in its peak in January 2000, but by September 2011 was only worth $4 a share. Thankfully for Cuban, he had diversified his fortune since his early windfall. He hedged his stock in synthetic indexes. The move cost him $20 million, but it hedged his Yahoo shares when the market cratered. When he reached billionaire status, Cuban spread his wealth across various industries, ensuring that no one crash could take him out. He invested in sports with the NBA Mavericks, acquired Landmark Theaters, bought Magnolia Pictures, and went into cable TV with HDNet. This way, if one of his eggs turned out to be an ugly duckling, it wasn't the end of his wealth. And Alexers, if you're keen to try investing, check out our video all about the 15 stocks we've invested in during this pandemic. Number 11. Know your business better than anyone else. If you want to be the best in the game, you need to know all the rules, plays, and opposition better than anyone else. If you're not the smartest one in the room about your product, then that means someone else is, and they could one-up you. Cuban spends a massive amount of time reading to research the industries he operates in and business in general. He believes knowledge is power and the only way of creating a successful company. Number 12. It doesn't matter how much you fail, you only have to be right once to succeed. The great thing about making it big is it doesn't seem to matter how many times you failed before that. You might have racked up hundreds of failures, but the time you get it right is more than enough. This rule works for getting a great job, launching a successful business, and finding the partner of your dreams. Number 13. Don't let the bank own you. Mark Cuban believes that 99% of today's companies can be started without any capital, and he's quite vocal about dissuading business to taking bank loans. The reason for this is he believes business should be centered around serving your customers. However, when you take a bank loan, you end up prioritizing taking care of your banker. Your banker becomes your new boss, and if you hit trouble, which all small businesses do, then you aren't in a position to make it work no matter what. You're forced to make it work for the bank's agenda. There are no shortcuts in business, according to Mark. Hard work pays rewards, and bank loans can stifle you. Number 14. Leverage free publicity to build your personal brand. Cuban is no stranger to appearing on screen. Apart from being the biggest shark in the tank, he's participated in a season of Dancing with the Stars, appeared in The Simpsons, has been interviewed countless times, including appearing on The Colbert Report, and even scored a cameo as himself on the series Entourage. A pretty impressive resume for a businessman. The reason for this, he sees these opportunities as ways to build his personal brand and to create awareness of the Mark Cuban businesses. Number 15. Your customers will let you know just how to keep them. A-Luxers will know the business strategy that it costs more to win over a new client than retain an existing one, so it makes business sense to keep your customers happy. Cuban realized this early on and owns the fact that customer satisfaction should be a part of carving the roadmap to your product or service. Your customers can tell you the things that are broken and how they want to be made happy. Listen to them. Make them happy. He also doesn't believe in squeezing every dollar out of your client that you can, but rather look at business as something that happens over years. He measures value in the total upside of a business relationship and not just how much you made on one deal with that customer. And A-Luxers, here we are at the end of our list. Which of these business values are you already adopting, and how are they making your fortune grow? What's the best business advice you've ever received? Let us know in the comments. And of course, for sticking with us until the end, here's your bonus. Mark Cuban has some great pearls of wisdom, but it's not always what you would expect from an established billionaire. One bit of advice he's famous for is this one. As I would learn later in life, money makes you extremely handsome. And while maybe that's true, we won't leave that as this Maverick's closing business lesson. Mark Cuban believes that everything is possible, and his self-made success story demonstrates it's true. What Mr. Cuban wants the world to know is there's no reason it can't be you as well. According to him, if you're willing to put in the effort and start the business, and you're willing to deal with the challenges and the fact you might starve or live like a student, if you're willing to fight through those with effort and brain power, anything is possible. Thank you for spending some time with us, A-Luxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, alux.com. Thank you for being an A-Luxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow. 15 business lessons from Jeff Bezos. Hello, A-Luxers, welcome back. The king of Amazon and the richest man in the world gets a bad rap, but his business approach is pretty rock solid. There are definitely some good takeaways from the business life of Jeff Bezos that we can learn from. He's best known for founding Amazon back in 1994 when on a cross-country road trip to Seattle from New York. What started as a meager online bookstore has become the world's largest online sales company and the largest internet company by revenue. But there's a lot more to Jeff Bezos. Amazon has grown into a megalith, and the offshoot businesses offer revolutionary innovation to the consumer market with just a few clicks. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. For now, let's look at the 15 greatest business lessons we can learn from Jeff Bezos. Number 1. Sell the solution to a need. When designing his business model, Bezos boiled down internet shopping into the basics. He realized it wasn't a business of what you're selling, but rather providing a service of selling. He explains, "We don't make money when we sell things. We make money when we help customers make purchasing decisions." Making money is no longer just about selling things or selling your time or a service, but it's become about making people's lives easier. There's an entire market segment dedicated to helping customers make complex decisions, like which leaf blower to buy. peer reviews on sites like Amazon help buyers cut through the marketing noise and make that decision. We bet you never thought of Amazon like that before, have you? Number 2. Don't stall on making decisions. Decentralize and move fast. One thing Bezos can't be accused of is stalling. He can change direction on a dime, and this has been the strength of Amazon and what's led to his market domination. How he's achieved that is with a business management structure that is decentralized. Cutting out the red tape has allowed the experts and innovators to harness a company passion for pioneering, inventive, and customer-obsessed culture. According to Bezos, this decentralized distribution of invention throughout the company, not limited to the company's senior leaders, is the only way to get robust, high-thought-out innovation. Number 3. Don't get caught up in the small decisions. Hire experts and give them power to make them for you. Bezos certainly wouldn't be where he is today if he were worried about what meals are served in the Amazon canteen or what color to make the Easter Specials website banner. He believes in the policy of don't sweat the small stuff, and in this fast-paced world, decisions need to be made quickly. Bezos has a policy of not deliberating needlessly on decisions that are reversible. This frees up him and top management to make big decisions that matter, with methodical, careful research and plenty of consultation. However, irreversible decisions are few and far between, according to Bezos, who sees most decisions as two-way doors. As he explains, these decisions can and should be made quickly by high-judgment individuals or small groups. Number 4. Be stubborn but flexible. Bezos commends the character trait of stubbornness in the entrepreneurial spirit. He credits it for what leads to innovation success. Innovation takes a lot of experimentation, and experimentation requires a decent helping of stubbornness to see it through. Without it, innovators would simply give up too soon. But with this stubborn superpower, there needs to be a balance of flexibility, according to Bezos. That's the difference between true visionary breakthroughs and doing the same thing again and again out of stubbornness. A flexible mindset will help you achieve this, but figuring out when to be which is definitely the hardest part. Bezos has clearly struck the balance of stubborn and flexible in his own ventures, with a personal fortune of $1.8 billion. He has more money to experiment with than any other person on the planet, yet his fortune keeps on growing. Number 5. Be your own biggest competition. It's better to create a new product that wipes out your old product than to let your competitors do it for you. Bezos doesn't plan on resting on his laurels. Instead, he's constantly in pursuit of how to move with the market. It's his passion to push innovation that's allowed Amazon to stay on top. When customers' Amazon deliveries were being stolen from their porches, he didn't just let traditional brick-and-mortar stores take back their territory. He innovated and created in-home delivery with the Amazon Key device. This allows delivery staff access to your house to place your packages inside of your front door. When Amazon created Kindle e-readers, they weren't concerned about taking away from paper book sales. Their competitor would, and then they would lose both paper book sales and the added sales of e-books and e-reader devices. E-readers were inevitable. Who would be the market leader and profit from them was anyone's game, and Jeff Bezos made sure Amazon was top of the log. On the flip side, a company like Kodak were the first to launch a digital camera, but Kodak were scared of cannibalizing film sales, so they stalled mass rollouts of digital cameras. But their competitors jumped on the digital camera market gap, and Kodak today is virtually bankrupt. Number 6. Build where there is improving infrastructure. When Bezos founded Amazon and began selling books online in the early .com era, internet was slow, home computer saturation was low, and online payments were complicated. But he knew that all the infrastructure platforms would improve on their own, and he could plug into their growth. And in 1999, he was actually quoted predicting this growth. Further improvements will lead to always-on access, which I expect will be a strong boost to online shopping at home as opposed to the office, and we'll see significant growth in non-PC devices and wireless access. We have a market size unconstrained by opportunity in an area where the underlying foundational technology we employ improves every day. That is not normal. Number 7. Self-service is the mother of invention. If you want to allow true innovation according to Bezos, you need to remove the gatekeepers that slow innovation. His platform is robust, but in no way is it militant in its approach to buyers or sellers. The seller field is as important to having a ripe consumer. Allowing sellers to innovate through their self-service nature of the platform has allowed even improbable ideas to be tried at little or no cost to Amazon. The feedback for users is immediate, and this allows for further insight into the user needs for Amazon. Number 8. Experiment and then experiment again. Bezos has a strong ethos of experimentation. In fact, he counts it as imperative to Amazon's business model. According to Bezos, if you double the number of experiments you do per year, you're going to double your inventiveness. He doesn't see it as something to do because all the top-notch tech companies do it. He sees it as integral to business success. Number 9. Cash is king. In a world of equity and Bitcoin, it's easy to forget the value of lowly cash. But according to Bezos, cash flow is the greatest indicator of a company's stock price over the long term. Bezos focused on the importance of cash early on, and so usually had access to funds for innovation cycles or market downturns. In 2001, he took a bold first step toward achieving a pro forma operating profit. He got everyone on board in the company to see the vision through. So forget operating profits and get to terms with your company's net profits if you want to make the big money. Number 10. Share values of your shareholders. From early on in the days of Amazon, Bezos was aware that a clear set of values defined his business and guided his approach. His emphasis on long-term growth helped make decisions that have resulted in Amazon's current success. The most important measurement of their success is customer and revenue growth. To amass such great success, however, is a result of leveraging this customer base to remain repeat buyers and to continue to bring in new customers on board. Shareholders who understand this clearly defined focus on customers will assist by not standing in the way of Bezos' talent for achieving his long-term vision. His talent can be defined by the success of Amazon's $1 trillion market cap. Amazon is only the second company in the world to ever reach this figure. Number 11. Find your profit in your fixed costs. You would think that a business like Amazon would be fixated on its variable cost, but Bezos believes in building businesses based on fixed costs. Variable costs are costs associated with sales, so in Amazon's case, this is delivery costs, labor packing costs, or transactional costs. Fixed costs are items like software, office rentals, insurance, and interest. Amazon can offer higher customer service by focusing on fixed costs like software development. A better website experience will increase customer satisfaction, whereas brick-and-mortar stores have to add variable costs like more sales staff or building upgrades to boost sales, although this is not a surefire return on investment. Amazon's variable costs are mostly linked to a sale that is already made, such as shipping or labor costs associated with packing. Number 12. A new race for space is underway, and Bezos is hoping to win. It's no surprise that Bezos has gravitated towards space exploration. By now, maybe he feels like being the richest man on Earth is somewhat limiting. His need to expand beyond the current frontier is being realized through his space travel company, Blue Origin. His aim is manufactured worlds, rotating to create artificial gravity with centrifugal force. To put it simply, giant floating glass tanks of fabricated worlds with colonies of people living and working inside of them. It's a race he's trying to win, and he's neck and neck with Elon Musk. Musk has his eye on Mars as the end goal for a second Earth civilization, but the two men certainly share a penchant for business and vision for shaking up any industry they enter into. And Aluxers, if Jeff Bezos is inspiring you, why not watch our video on business lessons from Elon Musk by clicking or tapping in the top right corner. Number 13. When it comes to the numbers, think long term. When Bezos considers the numbers, he thinks long term. If it's a decision that might seem daring at first, but he believes his customer or shareholder will learn to love it or at least stomach it later, then he signs up for the long run. In his words, math-based decisions command wide agreement, whereas judgment-based decisions are rightly debated and often controversial, at least until put into practice and demonstrated. And then when it comes to the numbers that multiply, we trust Bezos' advice and don't sweat the short term. After all, the numbers don't lie. Number 14. Work backwards from your customers' needs. Amazon is modeled around the customer's needs. In fact, sometimes they seem to know what we need before we do. We didn't realize we needed same-day delivery until we had it, and now it's indispensable. Kind of like the way we didn't realize we needed the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but thanks to Amazon Prime, here we are. The opposite of the approach of starting with the customer's needs and working backwards is a skills-forward approach. In the market where customers can easily move along, planning your business offering around being good at X, so that's what you offer your clients, is a one-dimensional approach. It could easily leave you redundant and never drive you to innovate and develop new business avenues. And Aluxers, keep on watching for the bonus of this video when we reveal how Bezos stays on top of his customers' ever-rising expectations. Number 15. Don't wait for a crisis to improve. Jeff Bezos is certainly humble in his approach to his customers. He realizes that they're loyal only until a better service is on offer. He understands that it's a great privilege they are loyal thus far, and feels a great obligation to continue to serve them as best as he can. It is this ethos that drives Amazon to not wait until their sales dip before improving their services. They're constantly in pursuit of ways to add value, features, and benefits as they improve their service offerings to customers. Bezos has said, "We lower prices and increase value for customers before we have to. We invent before we have to." And Aluxers, that's all for today's video. Now that you understand the man behind the brand, what are your experiences of Amazon services? Do you see these business values coming through in your Amazon experience? And as always, for sticking with us until the end, what could that mean? Your bonus, of course. Here it is. So, how does the king of Amazon stay on top of the ever-rising customer expectations of the click culture we live in? According to Jeff, it's not one single thing. He demands a culture of high personal standards in his company. This plays a large role in making sure everyone at Amazon is driven to push the limits and offer clients more. He is honest, though, saying, "We've had some successes over the years in our quest to meet the high expectations of customers, but we've also had billions of dollars worth of failures along the way. It's good to know that even Jeff Bezos can make a mistake sometimes." Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow. 15 lessons people learn too late in life. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello, Aluxers. For this Sunday video, we have something really special planned. Since last week, we've been thinking, what other knowledge could have an incredibly positive impact on our own lives? And if we did answer that question, we'd be open to sharing it with you guys. That's when we came up with this idea. Now, hopefully we all have plenty of years ahead of us, so why not learn from those who have walked the road before us, the ones who faced life and are still alive to tell the stories? How amazing would it be to leverage their knowledge at this point in your life? If you know what they regret the most, the lessons it took decades to learn, maybe, just maybe, you can play it smart and make better choices as of today. As with all Sunday videos, we recommend you grab a sheet of paper and double-check yourself if you agree or disagree to the items we'll be mentioning on this list. Keep in mind that these lessons are aggregated from people who achieved success and lived the lifestyles most of you are hustling so hard to live. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. And that's how this video came to be. We are looking at the 15 lessons most people usually learn too late in life. Number 1, everything is temporary. We even said it in our intro. We think we still have plenty of years ahead of us. Depending on your age, you're not even thinking that far ahead. But even you yourself are temporary. Coping with the idea that everything you do, every person you meet, everything you build is temporary can be a reality-shattering experience. The family dog is temporary. Your relationships are temporary. The items you buy are temporary. Nothing really lasts. It's one of those things you can only fully grasp when you've already seen it happen in your past. We all want to live forever. We all want to be eternal. But everything you do, at some point, will be gone, and people will have forgotten it. So might as well go for it, right? At some point, whatever the result, it'll be gone and forgotten. Number 2. Life isn't fair. Yeah, if you were expecting something else, sorry to disappoint you with the truth. The promotion will probably go to someone who's been smooth-talking the boss, despite the fact that you're more qualified and work harder. That girl you like might like the douchebag more, despite you thinking that you'd be the perfect fit for her. You're experiencing life through your own eyes, so you're going to be biased no matter what. We do not live in a perfect world, and even if you did, it wouldn't care much for you as an individual. There's like 8 billion of us. The world doesn't owe you anything. Just because you think you deserve something doesn't mean you're going to get it. Number 3. Family matters more than friends. Remember the first item on this list? You can't choose your family, but nobody will be willing to go further for you than they are. Friends are amazing. Have as many real friends as you can get, but family is something special, something most people seem to neglect these days. While friends will be alongside you in the trenches, none of them would really risk themselves for you. Family is the only one who'd be really willing to put you above them. Don't take that for granted. Talk to your parents while you still have them. Talk to your siblings, and do not let that relationship cool down. And of course, spend time with your kids, because they need you more than they need anything else. Number 4. Others treat you the way you treat yourself, not them. It's weird when you realize that someone else's attitude towards you depends on yourself and not the other person. The way you present yourself, what you think of yourself, who you are as an individual, these are all in your control. You can choose to grow, to learn, to improve. You, as an individual, are the sum of your experiences and beliefs. Once you fully accept a different set, the entire perception of the world around you will change. Think of this small experiment. If you were to move to a new city where nobody ever knew you, wore different clothes, listened to different music, started speaking differently, and changed your interests, the people you'll meet there will accept your new version because this is the reality they encountered first. Have more respect for yourself. Even demand it. Stand up for what you believe in and don't let others walk all over you. It's these small things that will haunt you when you're older. Number 5. The sacrifices you make today will pay dividends in the future. Many of those who are in the last quarter of their lives look back at the poor choices they've made, especially the time they wasted. It's always easier to see where you could have done better when you look back to the past. Many of them agree that with just a bit more strategy in play, they could have been in a way better position than they find themselves in right now. They all regret not reading more early on, and none of them remember any time wasted watching TV. If they were smarter with their time, they wouldn't have sacrificed as much as they had. If you'd like to know what the sacrifices people make are in order to get rich, you can click in the top right corner. We made an entire video breaking down what it takes and the impact it has on your life. Number 6. Sacrificing your health for success or wealth isn't worth it. It's weird seeing this one after the previous point, but it's definitely true. We have a tendency to always want more, and very few people know when to stop. Money is the most important thing in the world when you don't have it. Once you get it, it doesn't matter that much anymore. Nobody wants to sacrifice their own health in pursuit of money or success, but very few are willing to make the adjustments necessary in order to protect yourself over the potential gain. With old age, you'll look back and think of yourself as a fool for not paying more attention to the one thing which could give you more time with those you love. Number 7. Fear of embarrassment or criticism stopped you from being who you really are. You get one shot at this life, so might as well go for it. The main reason most people fail at anything in life is because they don't give it a go. We all find excuses to try to shield our perceived image from what other people think of us, but in the end, they don't matter. It's a choice you have to make for yourself. Who do you want to be? Will you be yourself, or will you be someone who other people are expecting you to be? Number 8. Things don't matter that much. When you're young, you want things because you see other people having things, and you think your life would be better if you had them as well. Things are just things. They don't make you who you are. Possessions are raw materials moved from one place to another. Do you think 10 years from now, you'll care that, at the moment, you have the latest iPhone? We want things because we are being sold on wanting them. Look around you right now. No, really. Pause the video and look around. How many things do you have around you, which you don't really need? You need tools, not things, and nobody needs more than a couple essential tools to get the job done. Number 9. Even the longest night was followed by a morning. Some things will take longer than 12 hours to pass, maybe a couple of months or even years, but one thing is for certain. No matter how hard it is right now, how dark everything seems, there will come a day when you'll feel better. Even bad times are temporary. This particular mindset will help you push through some of the most difficult bits life will throw at you. Don't take this advice lightly. Number 10. Happiness is a choice, and it requires a lot of hard work. Happiness isn't something that depends on other people or getting their approval. Happiness is something you experience yourself because your reality is in tune with your expectations. The good news is you can choose to be happy. The bad news is you need to put some real effort into it because just as anything worth pursuing, it won't happen by itself. At least, not to the degree you're looking for. We know some of you are struggling with this and might not think of yourselves as happy. So we've actually made another video called 15 Reasons Why You're Unhappy, which will dive into the actionable steps you can take right now to make the switch. You can check it out by clicking in the top right corner. Number 11. This moment right now. This is you being alive. This is your moment. And it's passing by the second. Every now is immediately absorbed by the past. How poetic is that? When we think of life, we usually look at the entire thing, but rarely realize that it's moments like this one right now, where you're watching this video, that make up all the pieces of it. Most people learn of the importance of the moment too late in life and missed a great deal of opportunities to seize it. Number 12. Everyone is really out for themselves. Everyone is the hero in their own movie, and everyone wants to ride into the sunset with the girl of their dreams. We all experience life in first-person point of view, and since you were born, you are the most important thing you have ever experienced. You need to protect yourself and prosper. Guess what? That's what everybody thinks. It might be hard to accept, but the same way you think of yourself as special, someone else thinks the same thing about themselves. We can't all be the lead in the same movie, so people will try to get that sunset for themselves. As long as you live, remember this, because it will help you see other people for what they really are. Human, just like you. Number 13. Beneath anger is always fear. As the wise Yoda says, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Whenever we suffer, especially for long periods of time, at first we believe it's because of something outside of us, something we hate. And if we make it past that emotion, we find below that hate is a rumble of anger, and certainly something we've held on to for far too long. But beneath all of that is always fear, a fear of loss, a fear of vulnerability, a fear of letting go. But if you can get to the point of acknowledging that fear, you'll see its lighthearted shadow, compassion, and then you'll be able to move forward. Number 14. The world is bigger than you've gotten to experience. Almost everyone wishes they could have seen more of the world, experienced more, and have it reveal more of its secrets. Our planet is amazing, filled with different people, different cultures, cuisines, architectures, beliefs, and visions for the future. If the whole world was a book, it really would be a shame to only read a couple of its pages. Number 15. A lifetime isn't very long. It's something you don't really think about much when you're young because it seems long. Life is abundant because we compare the amount of life we've lived to the amount of life we think we have left. Let's do a little thought experiment, shall we? When you're in your 20s, you expect to have at least 3 times as much life as you've had so far. But there's a trap to that. Let's say the average person dies at 80 years old. Right off the bat, most people sleep 7 or 8 hours a night, cutting down a third of that. You're left with 53 years. That's not bad, is it? If the average man works 40 hours a week from 25 to 65, that's another 10 years gone. But you're left with 43, which is still not that bad, is it? But wait, as of 2016, the average American is taking in over 10 hours of screen time per day. This combines with social media, with meaningless entertainment like TV shows or sports, alongside news-related content. The TV show part is 4.5 hours per day and rising, with companies like Netflix fighting more for your eyeballs. This means the average American spends 7 to 8 years of their life just watching TV. If you start counting everything that is consuming your time every day, like eating, cleaning, getting dressed, driving, and all the small tasks, you'll be shocked to find out that the average person in a developed country has less than 30 years to live. While if you live in a poorer country, you can easily cut that in half to less than 15 years. Now, if this doesn't put your life into perspective, we don't know what will. Now, in order to help our community, we're curious to know, Aluxers, what is one lesson you wished you'd learned sooner? Let us know in the comments. And as always, you guys know the drill. Here's your bonus fact. Number 16. You played it too safe. No matter how fast life is going for you, no matter how big your current worries are, when you're at the end of your life, you'll be looking at these days wondering, why didn't you take even bigger risks? Why didn't you live more? Why didn't you try to go big instead of settling for what was safe? This moment right now is the beginning of a new journey, one that will make the old version of yourself proud when they look back in time. It's time to go big, Aluxers. Be bold, live, be the best possible version of yourself. Put on a show for an audience of one, yourself. If this video motivated you in the slightest, please write "Go Big" in the comments so we know who the true Aluxers are, watching these videos until the very end. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow. 15 business lessons from Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been on a solid trajectory of business growth since cutting his teeth with a $1.5 billion sale of PayPal at only 31 years old, which was actually the second business he sold. After that, he launched into electric cars and space travel, and along the way, he redefined the clean energy game. Now he's drilling holes to take hyperspeed travel below ground. Elon Musk is an outspoken liberal, but in some aspects has some traits in common with conservative Donald Trump, but more on that later. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Let's take a look at some of the 15 greatest business lessons we can learn from Elon Musk. Number 1. Disruption means creating something different. In order to change the game, Elon seeks to understand the game first, have great insight into it, and then look for ways to make it better. This is the difference between his approach and thousands of other business leader wannabes. You can see this in his first billion-dollar success, PayPal. It required a complete understanding of the online payment ecosystem to be able to build such a robust disruptor that, to this day, has still not been upset by another game-changing innovation. Number 2. Innovation is better than replication. When Musk tries his hand at something, he doesn't replicate. Expect game-changing technology that can't be compared. Sure, there were strides in energy-efficient vehicles when he launched Tesla, but nothing like what Musk brought onto the market. He revolutionized our expectation of hybrid-powered cars through the innovation of Tesla Energy. More on the exacts of this later. But if Musk tried what others before him were trying in the efficient energy game, he would still be chasing his tail. He went after innovating everyday needs with completely revolutionary solutions. Some business people might think it's important to play it safe and stick to mastering industries or ideas that already exist. Others will tell you an idea doesn't have competition for a reason, but Musk is willing to take the risk and lose before he wins, all in the name of breaking new ground. If he hadn't, we would have a world without PayPal, hybrid cars, and commercial space travel. Number 3. Never accept things for how they've always been represented. Boil things down to the most fundamental truths, then reason up from there. When Musk got into batteries, he broke down the industry to its bare foundation blocks. A battery is traditionally an expensive item, but the raw materials that make up the battery do not add up to the major expense. They have an incredible markup on them. So in order to make clean electric energy work, first, Musk would need to create his own brand of batteries. Musk uses a school of thought called first principle thinking. On the thought of the high price of batteries, for example, he goes to the building blocks of batteries and works up. Start with the raw materials: cobalt, nickel, carbon, aluminum, a container, and some polymers. On the London Metal Exchange, the raw ingredients might cost you in the region of $80 per kilowatt hour, but batteries cost closer to $600 per kilowatt hour. Then for the next step, reasoning up. Can there be a better way to design the product? Adding efficiency and streamlining production will both dramatically reduce the cost of batteries and, in Musk's case, make Tesla Motors a viable financial success. You don't use your competitor's business model and try to undercut their pricing. Starting from the fundamental building blocks, or first principles, allows you to see some potential design flaws your industry might have accepted merely because they're the norm. Number 4. Your customers are king. Musk always boils things down to the basics, and for Tesla Motors, that means a happy customer that knows how to use their car. Instead of adding more delivery centers, forcing customers to take the time out of their busy lives to get the answers they need about their vehicle, Musk produced clear instructional videos on every element of the Tesla vehicle that their customer could possibly need. By simply focusing on a client's real needs, they simplify, cost save, and deliver. How is your business planning on ensuring you deliver to your clients' actual needs, not what you perceive their needs to be? Want to know how to build your own electric car, or how Tesla Energy makes batteries so much better? Well, Elon Musk is more than happy to tell you. Keep watching to find out how his Tesla benefits from sharing their ideas with everyone and anyone. Number 5. You're already wrong. Criticism allows us to be less wrong. Musk has a unique outlook on complaints. He believes in taking the approach that you're already wrong. He makes it his goal to be less wrong. Instead of going with egotistic thinking, Musk is prepared to criticize his work, onboard external criticism, and use it to always improve his business. Criticism is like a free business boot camp. It gives us fast and accurate feedback on what to address and how clients are experiencing our business and product. The earlier, the better. That way you can build less wrong from early on in your business. Elon Musk constantly seeks criticism. He doesn't shy away from it. He hungered for auto engineers to tell him what they thought was wrong with the Tesla electric car design. He then used this to learn and fix the mistakes for the future. Number 6. Look for solutions to problems, not easy ways to make money. If your only focus when you're starting a business is to outsmart or undercut your competitor at what is already on the market, then you have a fragile and feeble business foundation. Musk aims to find the greatest problems facing humanity and then come up with solutions to those needs. If something is a true global need, then profitability will follow, as the business is already a surefire success because it is what the market both wants and needs. Another focus is on the product being sold. Its quality and user experience is paramount to Musk. Making his products, like the Tesla cars for example, solve the very real problem of limited fossil fuel supply, and then ensuring the driver experience is amazing. Musk manages to build incredible businesses that will definitely attract sustainable profits, but above all will serve the market need. Number 7. Elon Musk never loses his vision of revolutionizing the world. When Musk enters into an industry, it's always with a strong vision to change the way the industry works. He has already spotted a problem to remedy or a need to serve. He shares his vision with his team and makes sure it's a shared vision. He holds fast to his vision and doesn't waver from it, making it a reality, because to him, his vision will have a positive impact on humanity. For example, with his SpaceX program, his vision was to have a lasting impact on making space travel accessible. To date, he is still on track to making commercial space travel a part of our lifetime, despite the challenges and competitors he's faced. One of those competitors is Jeff Bezos of Amazon. You can find out some more about these two men battling it out to win the space race on our video all about Bezos versus Musk. Number 8. With a vision comes a clear strategy. Partnered with his revolutionary vision is the ability to create a clear strategy to achieve it. This is the element that separates the business elite from the business nobodies. Turning vision into actionable strategy is a real skill. It requires analyzing data, research, brainstorming, and ultimately creating a big vision plan that others can follow, all of which Musk has proven to have a handle on during his illustrious career. Number 9. From strategy to actionable tasks. Turning a list of tasks into results needs a great team. Elon Musk is a prime example of hiring the best of the best to execute his grand vision. It's these bright minds that come up with the innovative products, backed with a solid business model, that make his vision a reality. Number 10. Good ideas are more valuable when shared. Musk is worth $45 billion, and innovation is what made him this wealth. You would think all that intellectual property would be kept under lock and key, right? Well, think again. Musk doesn't hide his innovations. He makes his ideas open source. This is a genius strategy that allows him to get the global public all working on his ideas. His approach proposes his ideas to the public and asks them to provide factual improvement at all stages of his product design. As a leader, he's taking advantage of the principle of using existing communication infrastructure to drive mass participation. To put it simply, he knows that 2 heads are better than 1, and millions of heads will allow him to achieve world-changing solutions. Number 11. Integrity is key to Elon Musk and should be at the core of every organization. Sure, Musk has a reputation for being a more trigger-happy boss than Trump on The Apprentice, but he only sends his staff packing if they don't share his values that form a strong part of his company culture. One of these is integrity. Throughout his business career, Musk has proven he is a man of high-standing morals. One example is in the early days of Tesla. He received a $400 million loan from the U.S. government's Department of Energy. As soon as the car took off, Musk paid back the debt. He shows that integrity is not an option, but the basis of how he operates. Number 12. Become an expert so you can change the game. Tesla Energy forms the basis of what makes clean cars and homes possible. But when Musk hired a team of engineers and energy experts and pitched his idea to them of a smaller, stronger, and more affordable battery, they all said it couldn't be done. So Musk researched all there was to know about battery power. He unpacked modern batteries and found ways to reinvent them to produce and store more energy. He was also able to innovate to bring down the cost. If he hadn't learned and understood the fundamentals of this business, he never would have been able to revolutionize it. Number 13. Your product should always be the focus. In a world of so much marketing noise, Musk holds quite a different approach. He believes the central focus of any company should be its product, making it better, market-ready, and always improving the customer experience rather than spending all of your energy trying to sell the product. Just on principle, he would rather end-market a product that will revolutionize the world than overly promote a mediocre product. Number 14. Nothing substitutes good old-fashioned work. Elon Musk explains, "It's a super huge amount of work. I think some people sort of have this idea that if they were the CEO of a company, that they would just give themselves a whole lot of vacations and not work very hard." Musk makes it clear that starting a company will mean longer hours and harder work than working for someone else. Not only the daily responsibilities of your business role, but predicting market changes and preparing for economic changes are a full-time job. Number 15. Be prepared to fail and then learn from it. Failure is a big part of big-picture thinkers' lives. The fear of failure is also one of the key reasons we don't step out and follow our dreams. If we take a page from Musk's book, Failure is just a part of the journey to the top. During the establishment of SpaceX, Musk faced numerous failures and setbacks. When he launched SpaceX, he committed $100 million to the project. He vowed that if he didn't successfully launch a rocket into space on this budget, then he would can the idea. The first 2 launches failed, and the team went back to the drawing board, having already spent $90 million of the budget. On the 3rd attempt, costing $90 million, they enjoyed success and secured a $6 billion contract with NASA, just proving to us all that if we don't learn to fail, we will fail to learn. Question: with more than one company trying to win the commercial space race, are you saving up for a SpaceX flight? Do you think we should be heading for new frontiers, or are we better off focusing on the planet we're currently on? Let us know in the comments. And of course, for sticking with us until the end, I guess we owe you a bonus, don't we? Here it is. With all of these achievements, you wouldn't think that Elon would quit at anything. But the truth is, in 1995, he dropped out of Stanford's PhD program after just 2 days. But it's not as bad as it sounds. For Musk, it was always upwards. He and his brother Kimball founded a web software company called Zip2, which sold to Compaq just 4 years later for $340 million. Thank you for spending some time with us, A-Luxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, alux.com. Thank you for being an A-Luxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Socrates lived from 470 to 399 BCE in Athens, Greece. During his 71 years, he was so impactful he would have topped the Forbes most influential list for sure. Strangely enough, he didn't put pen to paper for any of his great works. Instead, they were enthusiastically recorded by his student, Plato. Today, Socrates' wisdom is being seen as a great inspiration for how to tackle the modern business world. The Socratic culture that results from adopting Socrates' principles creates an engaging, driven, and intense environment. The focus is always on the best possible outcome, since all shareholders are considered. We've gathered 15 life lessons we can learn from Socrates to build better business practices. Welcome to alux.com. The place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Let's go back to ancient Greece and consider some of the greatest reflections of Socrates that are becoming popular in modern business. Number 1. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. Socrates begins with humility, for he realized that the more knowledge you gain, the more you realize you don't know. Those who believe they are experts in a field often don't know as much as they think, as their narrow realizations prove they only know very little, and so they believe they know enough. Socrates instead approached every topic from a point of complete ignorance and scrutinized it to build a better understanding. If we realize there's no end to knowledge, we'll never exhaust the potential to solve problems and create new opportunities. Number 2. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates was clear that to be able to operate successfully in the world, you first need to understand your own inner workings. This is not about what you want to be or what you own and what you want to have in the future. This is about looking within the soul of ourselves. In doing so, you'll be aware of what you're good at and what you're not, so you can focus on your strengths and help your weaknesses. This idea also relates to the idea of ignorance and how living a life without understanding how it works simply isn't worth living at all. Number 3. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. Another of Socrates' humbling principles is similar to the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. The role of a true leader is to empower those below you, but there's no way to force anyone to onboard knowledge. The best way to achieve this is to engage them to think, and this is where the best business practices are finding a new groove and reaping the rewards. Keep watching for more on this. Number 4. Understanding a question is half an answer. So, how does one get the horse to drink, or think in this case? Socrates placed great importance in asking questions. In fact, it was often the way he taught. You might have already noticed the Socratic method creeping into boardrooms and conferences you've attended. It's basically a series of questions being asked in various techniques. The idea is to engage critical thinking. Instead of asking your team simple questions like, "What were the figures for the fourth quarter?" Rather, engage a discussion that can lead to understanding and solutions, such as, "What do you think led to the figures we achieved in the fourth quarter?" Then listen to the answers. A big part many of us forget about asking questions is allowing people the time to answer them while we listen. Typically, we ask questions to gain 3 types of insights: priorities, possibilities, and probabilities. Use different questions to help hone in on what your needed particular outcome is. Number 5. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. This saying is used in yearbooks, blogs, and passive-aggressive fridge magnets in the office. It isn't actually certain if it was summarized in these words by Socrates, but it does line up with his values. This one is quite self-explanatory to A-Luxers like you, so let's move on. Number 6. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Socrates saw himself as someone who spread a lust for wisdom by challenging norms and inspiring wonder. He was later considered a heretic as he questioned the ancient Greek mythologies that explained everything from lightning to a successful harvest. Socrates preferred to lean on scientific understanding more than ancient stories. He wasn't very verbose about these beliefs, but the questions he asked at debates clearly spelled it out. Many business leaders can learn from this. Inspire your team by questioning commonly held beliefs through robust dialogues, instead of just monologuing about your own beliefs. Number 7. Strong minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Weak minds discuss people. According to Socrates, we give away the state of our minds by what we discuss with others. He hints that the greatest topic of discussion is to explore and examine ideas with one another. This way, we can also stay free from negative actions like slander and gossip, but more on Socrates' strong feelings later. Number 8. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. Many before and many after him have shared similar sentiments to Socrates on this one. From the Dalai Lama to John Lennon, we should all be the change we want to see in the world, and the change begins within. Many of us carry a righteous ego, quick to call out others doing what is against our definition of good, but few of us exude these values of good living in our daily life. Socrates puts it to us to live out the reputation we believe we deserve so we can genuinely gain it. Number 9. To move the world, we must move ourselves. Staying with the theme of change beginning with us, Socrates also points out we cannot expect the world to adapt and change without us first adapting and adopting a change of mindset. In business, it's also important to remember that if you want to introduce a disruptive technology, you better be the first to be willing to be disrupted. And if you're struggling to motivate yourself, why not watch our video on 10 ways to stop procrastinating? Number 10. Employ your time improving yourself by other men's writings, so that you shall gain easily what others have labored hard for. Socrates was a humble man who had no problem with taking advice from others, and he tirelessly studied the writings of others. In doing so, he didn't begin with his own philosophies from ground level, but rather leveraged already established knowledge and was able to build on top of it. It's the old-fashioned principle of not reinventing the wheel. Many entrepreneurs would do well to go back to basics and get up to speed with what business greats before us have already established, and then build from there before going at it alone when a roadmap is already available. Number 11. Beware of the barrenness of a busy life. It's a commonly understood belief that if you need something to be done, give it to a busy person. And while idleness can breed idleness, many business leaders are opting to stay away from busyness. All these years ago, long before social media and mobile phones, Socrates recognized that busyness can be meaningless and often results in less being done, or at least less important accomplishments being achieved. He was also clear that for parents, their most important investment is in their children, not in material wealth, because at the end of the day, your children will inherit your wealth as adults, but cannot care for themselves as children. So focus on the job at hand and parent them properly, which will reap far greater wealth. Number 12. It's not living that matters, but living rightly. Socrates was clear that doing evil harms the doer more than the person being wronged, because the person being wronged still has their virtue. He believed that in knowledge we understand good versus evil and thereby gain virtue. Gaining virtue was the only way to find happiness. And this couldn't be truer in business, because no matter how well your business is doing, if we know it's successful because of the exploitation of others, we'll never have true fulfillment or happiness. This is clear in the move to more ethical business practices and by a market demand for corporations to uphold higher moral values. Living rightly and virtuously has never been more important in business than it is right now, but more on this in our last lesson. Number 13. He is a man of courage who does not run away, but remains at his post and fights against the enemy. Socrates believed in facing your demons and seeing a task through. Of course, this does require you to have followed the previous advice and be sure you're in the right place, you're the right person for the job, and the battle is the right one for you. If you answer yes to these, it's your time to have courage and not avoid the battle. Avoiding battle merely delays the problem, whatever it is. It doesn't solve it. Number 14. Remember, there is nothing stable in human affairs. Therefore, avoid undue elation in prosperity or undue depression in adversity. As an entrepreneur, you've probably been told to get a stable job and an income you can rely on rather than pursue your business venture. But Socrates points out that nothing is stable or predictable. Therefore, we shouldn't put too much emphasis on celebrating our achievements, and on the flip side, not too much weight on our failures either. In adopting this mindset, we learn that nothing is constant but change, and the only way to measure our personal success is really in our ability to navigate good or bad moments and keep moving ahead. And if you're enjoying these business lessons, head over to one of our other business leader videos. Why not start with Elon Musk? Number 15. If a man is proud of his wealth, he should not be praised until it's known how he employs it. We mentioned earlier there's never been a more important time to be virtuous. The public have never scrutinized and mobilized themselves in such a way since the birth of online social networks. If you aim to maintain your upward business trajectory, be sure you build your wealth on the basis of good and virtuous practices, or your fall from public grace will be the only thing you'll be banking on. And Aluxers, here we are at the end. Which of these values do you already use in your business life? And which of these do you see yourself adopting to achieve business success? Let us know in the comments. And for sticking with us until the end, here's your bonus. I am not an Athenian nor a Greek, but a citizen of the world. Socrates was probably the first global citizen long before Reddit, Facebook, or Twitter helped us find our international tribe online. Socrates had already gained the insight that before any creed or nationality, we're part of a global community. For some of us, it took a tragedy like the COVID-19 outbreak to realize our interconnectedness as a species and our interreliability as the human race. Socrates was way ahead of the curve, and his renouncement of his nationhood cost him his life, but he never lost his humanity. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
हे दोस्तों, चाणक्य ने अपने टाइम में बहुत सी कमाल की चीजें पॉसिबल करके दिखाई थी, जिसकी वजह से ही उन्हें इंडियन हिस्ट्री के सबसे शातिर लोगों में से एक माना जाता है। कुछ एग्जाम्पल दूं तो चाणक्य के दिमाग की वजह से ही चंद्रगुप्ता, जो उनके स्टूडेंट थे, वो एक राजा बने थे, नंदा डायनेस्टी को हरा के। कहा जाता है कि चाणक्य ही वो मास्टरमाइंड थे जिसकी वजह से अलेक्जेंडर द ग्रेट को इंडिया में डिफीट मिली थी जब वो दुनिया कॉन्कर करने निकले थे। इनफैक्ट ये भी माना जाता है कि वो चाणक्य ही थे जिसने कई अलग अलग राज्यों को, जिस पे अलग अलग राजाओं का रूल था, उन सबको उन्होंने ही एक करके आर्यवर्त बनाया था, एक ऐसा देश जिसकी बस एक गवर्नेंस थी, और फिर वही आर्यवर्त इंडिया बना। अब फास्ट फॉरवर्ड करके आज के टाइम पे आए तो ऑथर को जब अपने बिजनेस में सक्सेस नहीं मिल रही थी, तब उनके मेंटर ने उन्हें सजेस्ट किया कि वो पीटर ड्रकर जैसे मैनेजमेंट स्कॉलर के साथ साथ इंडियन हिस्ट्री के स्कॉलर चाणक्य की बातें भी जरूर सीखे। जिसके बाद ऑथर ने फिर वही किया। शुरू में उन्हें चाणक्य की बातें, सूत्रास इतने समझ नहीं आ रहे थे क्योंकि वो बहुत टफ लैंग्वेज में थे, बट फिर काफी मेहनत और टाइम देने के बाद उन्होंने चाणक्य की सब बातें सीख ही ली, जिसे फिर अपने बिजनेस में अप्लाई करने का रिजल्ट ये निकला कि उनका बिजनेस काफी कम टाइम में बहुत सक्सेसफुल होने लगा। इतना कि सब उनसे उनका राज पूछने लगे। और तभी ऑथर ने ये बुक को इजी वर्ड्स में लिखने का सोचा, ताकि लोग इजीली चाणक्य की बातें सीख के उन्हें आज के टाइम में अपने बिजनेस प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में यूज कर सके। ऑथर ने इस बुक को 3 पार्ट्स में बनाया है। पहला लीडरशिप, दूसरा मैनेजमेंट और तीसरा ट्रेनिंग। और अभी मैं आपको इनमें से ही कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स बताऊंगा। सो लेट्स बिगिन। लीडरशिप इक्वल्स पावर। लीडरशिप में जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आता है वो है पावर। हजारों सालों से लेके आज तक किसी भी फील्ड में वो इंसान ही सबसे ज्यादा आगे जाता है, सक्सेसफुल होता है, जिसके पास सबसे ज्यादा पावर होता है। इसीलिए बिजनेस में भी सक्सेसफुल बनने के लिए आपका पावरफुल होना बहुत जरूरी है। और पावरफुल बनने के लिए चाणक्य आपको 4 चीजों पे ध्यान देने बोलते हैं। पहला, इंटेलेक्चुअल पावर। आज हम जो एज में रह रहे हैं वो है इंफॉर्मेशन एज, और पिछले किसी भी टाइम से ज्यादा आज वो इंसान सबसे ज्यादा आगे बढ़ सकता है जिसके पास सही नॉलेज और विजडम हो। इनफैक्ट आने वाले टाइम में नॉलेज ही सबसे महंगी कमोडिटी होगी, और दुनिया के सबसे सक्सेसफुल लोग वो लोग ही बनेंगे जिन्हें दूसरों से ज्यादा नॉलेज और विजडम होगी। सेकंड, मैन पावर। मैन पावर में वो सारे लोग आते हैं जो आपके साथ काम करते हैं या आपके लिए काम करते हैं, या इवन आपके कस्टमर्स भी। अब जितना अच्छे पावरफुल ये लोग होंगे उतना आप पावरफुल बनोगे। और यहाँ मैं उन पावरफुल लोगों को भी ऐड करूंगा जो आपको जानते हैं या जिन्हें आप अच्छे से जानते हो, बिकॉज जितने पावरफुल लोगों के साथ आपके कनेक्शन होंगे उतना आप भी पावरफुल बन सकते हो। नंबर 3, फाइनेंशियल पावर। बहुत से लोग सोचते हैं कि हम बस लोगों के अच्छे के लिए काम करेंगे और पैसा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बट सच तो यह है कि अगर आपकी कंपनी, आपका बिजनेस पैसा नहीं बना रहा है तो आप चाह कर भी ज्यादा टाइम तक लोगों की मदद नहीं कर पाओगे, बिकॉज पैसा ही चीजों को रियलिटी बनाने का पावर देता है। नंबर 4, एंथुजियाज्म एंड मोरल। रिसर्च से पता चला है कि वो लीडर्स के सक्सेस होने के चांस बहुत ज्यादा रहते हैं जो एनर्जी, कॉन्फिडेंस से भरे होते हैं, डिसिप्लिन के साथ। इनफैक्ट चाणक्य बोलते हैं कि अगर एक इंसान बस अकेले इस फैक्टर पे भी ध्यान देगा तो वो पहले बताए तीनों फैक्टर को अचीव कर सकता है। आर्ट ऑफ पनिशमेंट। एक पावरफुल लीडर बनने के लिए आपको टफ और अंडरस्टैंडिंग दोनों रहना बहुत जरूरी है। मतलब आपके टारगेट्स, गोल्स को अचीव करने के लिए आपको छड़ी का यूज करने आना चाहिए। बिकॉज हाँ, ये बात तो सही है कि अगर एक लीडर हमेशा बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट रहेगा, हमेशा सबको पनिश करेगा, तो लोग उससे नफरत करेंगे। लेकिन वहीं दूसरी तरफ अगर वो कभी किसी को पनिशमेंट नहीं देगा, स्ट्रिक्ट नहीं रहेगा, तो लोग उसकी इज्जत नहीं करेंगे, ना ठीक से काम करेंगे। इसलिए चाणक्य बोलते हैं पावरफुल इंसान बनने के लिए आपको छड़ी यूज करने के आर्ट को समझना बहुत जरूरी है। ना इतना सख्त रहो कि लोग आपसे जरूरी बात करने भी डरे, ना इतने नरम कि लोग आपकी बात की वैल्यू ही ना करे। स्टेइंग एट द टॉप। चाणक्य बोलते हैं कि एक बार आपका पावरफुल बनना तो आसान है, लेकिन उस पोजीशन पे टिके रहना बहुत मुश्किल। इसीलिए एक पावरफुल चहीता लीडर बनने के लिए आपको अपने ऊपर कंट्रोल रखने आना चाहिए। और कंट्रोल स्पेसिफिकली आपको अपनी 6 नेगेटिव फीलिंग्स पे रखना है। पहला, लस्ट। हमेशा और ज्यादा चीजें पाने की हवस रखना इंसान को ले डूबता है। इसीलिए टॉप पे पहुंचने के बाद जरूरी है कि वो इंसान दूसरों को सिखाए और नए लीडर्स को मेंटर करे। सेकंड, एंगर। गुस्सा इंसान को सही फैसले लेने नहीं देता, इसीलिए इससे सबको बचना चाहिए। नंबर 3, ग्रीड। गांधी जी का कोट है कि इस दुनिया में हर इंसान की जरूरत पूरी होने के लिए बहुत कुछ है, पर एक लालची इंसान की लालच को खत्म करने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं। इसीलिए एक इंसान को हमेशा खुद लालच करने के बजाय दूसरों को चीजें देने का सोचना चाहिए। फोर्थ, प्राइड। टॉप पे रहने के लिए एक इंसान को कभी अपने ईगो का गुलाम नहीं बनना चाहिए, वरना लोग उसे कभी एक अच्छा लीडर नहीं समझेंगे। फिफ्थ, एरोगेंस। हर जीत के लिए खुद क्रेडिट लेना और हर हार के लिए दूसरों को ब्लेम करना कभी इंसान को टॉप पे नहीं रखता। और सिक्स्थ, ओवर एक्साइटमेंट। एक लीडर को कभी भी अपने इमोशंस में डूब नहीं जाना चाहिए, ना ज्यादा खुशी दिखानी चाहिए ना ज्यादा गम, क्योंकि जब किसी घर में आग लगती है तो उस घर का वो इंसान ही सबसे अच्छे से सोच पाता है जो अपनी फीलिंग्स को कंट्रोल में रखना जानता है। ओन लॉ। हम सब जमीन पे टिके हुए हैं, उड़ते नहीं, क्योंकि उसके पीछे ग्रेविटेशन का लॉ है जो हमें बांध के रखता है। ऐसी पूरी दुनिया अलग अलग लॉस पे चल रही है जिसका होना बहुत जरूरी है ताकि सब सही से चले। सिमिलरली हर घर, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या देश में कुछ लॉज होने चाहिए जो सबको ठीक रखे। इसलिए आप भी अपने बिजनेस घर में कुछ लॉज बना के रखो और उन्हें टूटने मत दो। और एज ए लीडर आपको लॉ बनाने होंगे 3 चीजें ध्यान रख के। पहला, वो लॉ आप क्यों एग्जैक्टली बना रहे हो और उससे फायदा क्या होगा। दूसरा, वो लॉ से सबका फायदा हो। और लास्ट, तीसरा, लीडर को लॉ सबका सोच के बनाना चाहिए। एग्जाम्पल, अगर एक भूखा इंसान कुछ खाना चुराता है जिंदा रहने के लिए, तो उसके लिए रूल्स थोड़े कम स्ट्रिक्ट होने चाहिए उस इंसान के मुकाबले जिसने एक गरीब का खाना चुराया बस मजे के लिए। कंट्रोल ऑफिस। पहले जमाने में किसी भी किंगडम की सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेस होती थी राजा का महल, उनका फोर्ट, जहाँ से वो पूरे किंगडम को कंट्रोल करते थे। वहीं उनकी ट्रेजरी होती थी, वहीं से वो अपनी आर्मी यूज करते थे, कमांड करते थे, और वहीं से वो अपने वजीर, कमांडर्स और समझदार लोगों से स्ट्रेटेजी डिस्कस करते थे, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। मतलब वहीं से सारी चीजों पे वो रूल करते थे। इसलिए कोई दुश्मन अगर फोर्ट पे हमला करता और उसे जीत जाता तो मोस्टली इसका मतलब यही होता था कि वो पूरा किंगडम जीत गया है। हेंस फोर्ट की बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस होती थी। आज के टाइम की बात करें तो आज का फोर्ट होता है एक लीडर का ऑफिस या वो जगह जहां वो काम करता है, जिस पे उसका कंट्रोल रहना बहुत जरूरी है। स्पेशली 3 चीजों पे एक स्ट्रॉन्ग लीडर को कंट्रोल रखना चाहिए। पहला ट्रेजरी, मतलब बिजनेस का फाइनेंस। दूसरा आर्मी, मतलब मॉडर्न टर्म्स में सारे एम्प्लॉइज, सीईओ से लेके पियून तक। और लास्ट तीसरा वजीर, कमांडर, यानी ट्रस्टवर्दी लोग, मतलब आपके साथ के वो लोग जो बिजनेस चलाना जानते हैं। अब चाणक्य के हिसाब से बेस्ट स्ट्रेटेजी ये है कि एक पावरफुल लीडर को ट्रेजरी और आर्मी पे ध्यान रखना चाहिए और ट्रस्टवर्दी लोगों को मेन बिजनेस हैंडल करने देना चाहिए। मेंटेन सीक्रेट्स। जैसे एक दर्जी के लिए कपड़े काटने से पहले 2 बार नाप ले लेना सही होता है, श्योर होने के लिए, ताकि कपड़ा गलत ना कट जाए। वैसे ही एक इंसान का कुछ भी बोलने से पहले 2 बार सोच लेना अच्छा होता है। स्पेशली अगर आपको एक पावरफुल लीडर बनना है तो ये जरूरी है कि आप इंपॉर्टेंट बातों को सीक्रेट रखो और कुछ भी ऐसा ना बोलो जो आगे आपको प्रॉब्लम दे सके, जब तक एकदम जरूरी ना हो। 2 बड़े रीजन जिसकी वजह से हमें सीक्रेट शेयर नहीं करने चाहिए एज ए लीडर वो है, फर्स्ट, एक लीडर जिसके सीक्रेट्स उनके लोगों को पता होते हैं उसे उनके सामने झुक के रहना पड़ता है, ये डर से कि कहीं वो सीक्रेट लीक ना कर दे। कई बार तो लोग ब्लैकमेल भी कर सकते हैं सीक्रेट को लेके, जो अगेन लीडर को वीक बना देगा। दूसरा, सीक्रेट बताना एक लीडर को हेल्पलेस बना सकता है, क्योंकि फिर वो प्लान बना के किसी सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के बजाय अपने सीक्रेट्स को बचाने का ज्यादा सोचेगा। चाणक्य के दुश्मन उनसे बहुत डरते थे, क्योंकि उन्हें तो दूर की बात चाणक्य के दोस्तों को भी नहीं पता होता था कि चाणक्य का नेक्स्ट मूव क्या होगा। 3-fold सक्सेस। चाणक्य बोलते हैं सक्सेस 3 तरह के 3 फोल्ड में हो सकते हैं। पहला, सक्सेस बाय काउंसिल। हर इंसान को किसी एडवाइस की नीड होती है और एक इंसान को जितना अच्छा एडवाइजर मिलेगा उतना उनके सक्सेस के चांस बढ़ेंगे। सेकंड, सक्सेस बाय माइट। एक पावरफुल पोजीशन पर रहने वाला इंसान ज्यादा डिसीजंस ले सकता है बिना किसी की फिक्र करे, जो अगेन उसे सक्सेस मिलने में बहुत हेल्प करता है। इसलिए आपको एक पावरफुल पोजीशन पर रहना चाहिए, या फिर अगर एक आदमी खुद पावरफुल पोजीशन पर नहीं है तो उसके कनेक्शन एटलीस्ट ऐसे लोगों से होने चाहिए जो पावरफुल हो। लास्ट, सक्सेस बाय एनर्जी। ये टाइप की सक्सेस एक इंसान के काम, उसकी एनर्जी, उसके एंथुजियाज्म और पैशन की हेल्प से उसे मिलता है। पावर मैनेजमेंट। एक इंसान जो किसी भी तरह की सिचुएशन को अच्छे से हैंडल कर सकता है वो सच एक बहुत पावरफुल इंसान होता है। चाणक्य बोलते हैं 3 सबसे कॉमन टाइप की सिचुएशन जो एक लीडर के सामने आ सकती है वो है, पहला, पीपल सिचुएशन। कोई भी इंसान को ऊंचे पोजीशन पे आना है या रहना है तो उसे लोगों को हैंडल करने आना ही चाहिए। अब क्योंकि हर इंसान अलग अलग होता है इसलिए उन्हें हैंडल करने के तरीके भी अलग अलग होते हैं। इसीलिए चाणक्य सबको ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी इस सब्जेक्ट को पढ़ने की सलाह देते हैं। सेकंड, नॉलेज सिचुएशन। आज की इस नॉलेज इकोनॉमी में कंपनी करोड़ों खर्च करती है रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में, क्योंकि सच में आज आगे बढ़ने के लिए सही नॉलेज रखना बहुत जरूरी है। इसलिए आप हमेशा नॉलेज लेते रहो, बुक्स पढ़ के, या आज तो आप बुक सुन के और देख के भी उसकी नॉलेज ले सकते हो इस वीडियोस की तरह। थर्ड, मटेरियल सिचुएशन। मटेरियल में यहाँ पैसे, मशीन्स, टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सेट्रा आती है। चाणक्य बोलते हैं 2 तरीके से आप सिचुएशन हैंडल कर सकते हो। पहला, या तो सिचुएशन के आने के बाद उसके लिए सोल्यूशन निकाल के, या फिर दूसरा, पहले से ही सोच के कि अगर प्रॉब्लम आती है पैसे की या कोई काम पड़ता है तो आप क्या करोगे। मतलब हमेशा बैकअप प्लान रखना। हैव समवन टू आंसर। किसी को भी ये पसंद नहीं आता कि उनका एक बॉस हो जो उन्हें हमेशा चिल्लाता रहे, बट सच तो ये है कि हमें हमेशा एक ऐसे इंसान को अपने साथ रखना चाहिए जिसे हम आंसर कर सके। एक दोस्त, मेंटर या बॉस या कोई तो होना चाहिए जिसे हम आंसर दे सके कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या करने वाले हैं, एक्सेट्रा। क्योंकि ये चीजें हमें सक्सेस के ट्रैक पे अच्छे से बनाए रखेगी। ये थी बस बहुत ही थोड़ी सी बातें इस नॉलेज से भरी बुक कॉर्पोरेट चाणक्य इस बुक से। मुझे नहीं लगा था कि इसमें इतने सारे पॉइंट्स होंगे सीखने के, बट एक्चुअल में जैसे मैंने पहले ही बताया ये बुक 3 पार्ट में है, जिसका एक पार्ट लीडरशिप है, जिसके अंदर टोटल 5 पार्ट है। उसमें से भी मैं बस एक पार्ट आपके साथ आज शेयर कर पाया हूँ। इसलिए बाकी बातें अगर आपको सीखनी है तो वो आप ये बुक खरीद के पढ़ के सीख सकते हो। मैंने लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में दी है। या अगर आपको चाणक्य नीति इस बुक की फ्री ऑडियो बुक चाहिए तो वो आप seekent.org/audible से जाके ले सकते हो। ऑडिबल एक अमेज़न कंपनी है जो 1 महीने का फ्री ट्रायल देती है, जिसके बाद वो आपको चार्ज करती है। यहाँ से वो बुक आप ले सकते हो, जिसकी अगेन लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में दी है। और लास्ट, अगर आप मेरे वीडियोस को भी मिस नहीं करना चाहते तो आप सब्सक्राइब करने के बाद बेल आइकन पे जरूर क्लिक करें, इसे जब भी मैं न्यू वीडियो डालूंगा, जो मैं हर संडे को डालता हूँ, तब आपको उसका नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगा, वरना शायद नहीं आएगा और आप ये वीडियोस मिस कर दोगे। लाइक करें अगर आपको ये बातें काम की लगी, कमेंट करके अपने व्यूज बताएं इन टॉपिक्स के बारे में, शेयर करें इस वीडियो को अपने फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली के साथ, स्पेशली उनके साथ जिन्हें बिजनेस में इंटरेस्ट हो। एंड फाइनली, थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग।